Again, welcome back. Here we are to continue talking about JavaScript and data visualization. In the last couple of videos, we looked at the new project, which is a real-time visualization. We're trying to make an audio visualizer with JavaScript and Canvas. And in our last video, we experimented. We took a look at the starter code and we experimented by creating our own renderer, right? And the renderer takes in an array of frequencies, a reference to a canvas, and then the width and height of the canvas, and then it draws something on the canvas. And in our example, what we did was we drew, some rectangles from the upper corner like this. And that's the start of a visualization, right? So let's continue with that. So I think I'm going to delete some of this leftover comments here, because that was the code from the previous example. I'm going to delete all that. In the previous video, I left you with a challenge that was, instead of drawing the boxes from the upper corner, let's draw them from the center of the canvas, right? So how did you do on that actually, right? I'm kind of curious. You may have come up with a different solution than I do. I'm going to present my solution here. Let's take a look at what the problem is, right? So I have a drawing here of our canvas. And imagine we want to draw a rectangle. Our rectangle right now is in the upper corner, but what we want to do is we want to move it to the center. And the problem here is that when we draw with rect, using canvas.rect, right, we provide an X and a Y, and this is the position of the left and the top edge, and then we set the width and the height. Okay, and that gives you the width and the height of the canvas. So, this would be the X and the Y, and then this is the width and the height. If X and Y is 0, then the canvas is always going to draw from this corner, right? To place it in the center, what we need to do is we need to find the center of the canvas, and then find the position of the upper left corner of the rectangle. And to find the position of the upper left corner, we have to know the width and height of the rectangle, and then we'll subtract that value from the center of the canvas, right? So in other words, like, let's imagine that, actually we can even do this here. What if I make the width of this box, I make it 200 by 200, right? And I'll put it here like this. So if the width of the canvas is 300 and the height is 300, that makes the center 150 by 150. So if I take 150 and subtract half the width of the canvas, that says that the left edge should be at 50. And actually I can see Sketch shows me that the position of this is at 50. And then the top edge would be the same, right? So it would be 150 minus half the height. Height is 200, so half the height is 100, so 150 minus 100 is 50, and that's the top edge here. Okay, so let's try and implement that now in JavaScript. So we've got our renderer here, and it's taking in the width and the height of the canvas. Let's calculate the half the width and height, right? So the center of the canvas. So I'm going to do const center x equals width divided by 1, or actually divided by 2, or you could multiply by 0.5 is fine too. Center, I'm going to multiply by 0.5. I feel like it reads better. And then we'll do height multiplied by 0.5, right? So now we have the center. So now for each, we can't calculate the position of the box until we know the width and height of each box, right? So so for the width and height of each box right here, we're calculating that at this point. So after that, we can calculate the X and Y. So let's do const X equals center X minus width times 0.5. Oops, let's put a 0 in there. And then let's say const Y equals center Y minus height times 0.5. And now we'll take the X and the Y and we'll use them here to set the location of the rectangle. So let's do X and Y here. Great, so let's give it a test. Oh, hey, so that's looking better already, right? Um, so that looks pretty good. What if you wanted to move the box to the upper left corner? So imagine, um, I've drawn my diagram here and I've kind of divided it into quarters, right? So what if I wanted to draw a box, but I wanted to make sure that that box always fell into this zone right here, okay? Give that a try, see if you can do that. Okay, how did you do? Okay, let's give it a try. So we've got one box right now and it's in the center, but instead of the center, what I want to do is I want to put it in, like rather than the center here, I want to actually move it over, right? So let's do a little more calculation, right? So this is the center, but really what I want is I want to do like a quarter, right? Let's call this, instead of x, let's call it, I'm already using x and y down here. Let's call it quarter x, I don't know, qx, qy, right? So we'll do that. And then I'll have to replace the number here, qx and qy. Oops, qy, there we go, right? Okay, so that's looking okay, right? So it's in the right spot, but now the box is a little too big, right? So sometimes the box gets way out to here, but that's more than halfway, and sometimes it's going off the edge over here. I want to keep it within this zone. So that means that the height and width of the box can't be more than half the height and width of our canvas. So let's do this. Let's say const half height. Let's do half height. Let's do half width equals width times, I guess I had this before. Let's do const half height equals height times 0.5, right? So now instead of using the width right here, we'll use half the width, right? So, so we'll put this in here, and here we'll do half the height, right? Let's give it a try. Oh, so that doesn't look too bad, right? So now my challenge for you, the next challenge, is let's draw 3 more rectangles and put one here, and one over here, right? So, if I looked at it in Sketch, I want one rectangle here, one of them over here, and then one each in the lower corners, right? And then they should animate. Now, here's a little background for you, right? If you draw a rectangle here like this, oops, let me leave that one there. Once you've begun a path, you don't have to begin a path again, because we're going to draw all the rectangles with the same color. So if we begin a path, we can draw one rectangle here, and then you can draw another one, a third one, and a fourth one, right? But they'll have to have different X and Y locations, right? And then you can just stroke all, you can set the stroke color and stroke all the rectangles. So you don't need to duplicate this or this. You just need to set the position of each of the 4 rectangles. Okay, give that a try. Okay, you can stop the video, right, if you didn't. If you stopped the video and you gave it a try, good for you. If you came up with a great solution, awesome. If you didn't, don't worry about it. We'll kind of walk through it, okay? So far I've got all my rectangles here, but what I need to do now is I need to calculate a new X and Y position for each of the rectangles, right? So I've got X and Y, so this first one is in place, but now I need to do another one, right? So let's do this. Let's say let's do const. I'm going to change this. Let's make this like x1 and x2, and then let's, or wait, actually y1, and then let's do this one as x2, right? And we'll do const of y2, right? I think we only need those two numbers because the first two rectangles here share an x, and the two up here share a y, and the same is true with the bottom ones, right? So rather than calculating 4 pairs of numbers, we can just calculate the two numbers, right? So what is this one going to be? I think this one's going to be the quarter x minus the width times 0.75. And so again, like really what we're doing here is I'm calculating the x and y for the first corner here and the x and y for this corner. And then these two can share numbers from the other two. So this one is going to be, let's actually just borrow this, right? And I think it's going to be times 0.75. So our first rectangle is going to be at, actually here, let's put this over here where we can see it. So our first rectangle or square is going to be at this corner here, so it'll be x1, y1. The second one is going to be at x2, actually let's make this x1, y1. And the second one's going to be at x2, right, 3/4 width, and at y1. And then the third one is going to be at x1, y2, and the last one will be at x2 and y2. Okay, let's give that a try and see what happens on the canvas, right? Oh wait, I got an error, right? Let's see. I think I made a mistake here. I think this quarter right there is not correct, right? I think what I want to do is I want to change, I want this, actually I mixed that up. This needs to be 0.5 still, but this number here needs to be over, like I need to change it here, right? I need like quarter x1. We'll do it here. So this one is going to be 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. So this would be times 3, I think. You don't trust me when it comes to math, right? Okay, so let's try that, right? Oh, there we go, right? So anyway, sorry, I fumbled that solution there. Hopefully you did better than I did, right? But there we go, right? So that's looking kind of interesting, and it could be, you know, maybe there's more you could do with this, right? You know, again, I'm doing the half the width. What if we did the full width, right? You know, so feel free to experiment with this, right? So what if we did the full width here? Now all the boxes are going to overlap, and maybe that looks more interesting. So I'm just trying to give you ideas to experiment for you to come up with your own solutions and your own visualizations. So that got us started. Thanks for watching, and maybe we'll talk about some more ideas in the next video.